All eyes today are on the map of North Korea right now, particularly looking along this eastern coast over here where military intelligence says, you can see the red part there, it's about a 250-mile stretch where somewhere a missile has been moved into position for launch. That's what we're hearing from intelligence. We don't know where it is, but we hopefully would think that they do. This is a fairly big area. What we do know is what kind of missile we're talking about by and large. And what we're talking about is a model that is really a very bare bones type of missile here. This is called the Musadan. It is believed to have evolved from a missile that was used by Russian submarines. So you can see how this profile would fit well for a submarine launch. There's also a variety of this that is used in Iran called the Shahab missile. It's generally pretty reliable, although the variations on this can be very wide. Let me get rid of the model here and bring in the stats, and let's talk about that for a moment or two. This thing can be of some considerable length, if you think about it, somewhere between 40 and 60 feet long. It can carry a payload of 2.5 tons. That really matters because that is a substantial amount of explosive power being carried. The payload in a missile is a bomb, actually. So you either have a nuclear warhead, which is probably unlikely just given the state of the North Korean nuclear program. That would not be very reliable. Or HE, that stands for high explosive, a high explosive warhead, Jake. If you have a missile like we just talked about here carrying a high explosive of 2 tons or something like that, that sets an awful lot of wallop being thrown up in the air, Jake.
And Tom, how far can these missiles go?
Yeah, that's a really great question. It depends on the variety of the missile we're talking about. I'm going to bring in some stats here on that as well. If you look at a map and if you say this is a two-stage missile, they can be one stage because, as I mentioned, there are many variations on the Musadan. If it's a two-stage and they get both stages to fire, they can go up to about 2,500 miles. So what does that show us on the map here? Well, Hawaii, Alaska, California, they're off here. They would not reach it with this. It's called an intermediate missile. But places like Guam would be in the target zone, so would Japan, so would South Korea. And as you mentioned, Jake, there are tens of thousands of U.S. troops and assets in those areas.